es in anderen Ländern auch Kindersendungen? Japan.
皆さんこんにちは。東京新聞の倉内義郎です。新聞広告のマーケティングを行いながら、今回の、東京こども新聞はスマートフォンやタブレットの AR 技術を使って大人が読んでいる新聞を子どもでも読めるように変身させるという試みでした。昨年の10月20日に1日限りで実行しまして、この日は日本における新聞広告の日という日でした。それでは実演します。この AR アプリ東京 AR は昨年6月から無料で公開しています。この AR 技術を使って新聞広告の日に何か今までとは違ったことができないかと、そういったことをこの企画のパートナーである広告会社電通と一緒に考えた結果生まれたのが東京こども新聞でした。電通の黒須さんと林さんです。まず林さん、このアイデアにたどり着いたきっかけは何だったんでしょうか。
日本っていう国は若年層の投票率がすごく低いんですね。でそれを以前からすごく問題意識を持ってました。で、これから世界でも超高齢化社会に一番早くなるという日本の中にこういうことがさらに進むとやっぱり若者に不利な政策ばかりが選ばれることになりかねない。だからこそなるべく小さな頃からニュースに触れて社会に参加するっていう意識を持ってもらえればいいなと思ってました。
はい。で黒須さん、開発者として、最もアピールしたいところっていうのはどういう点でしょうか。
はい。今新聞離れを、加速させているデジタルメディアですが、逆にその能力を上手に使えば、新聞に新しい価値を生み出せるかもしれないなと。それは例えば、今回の企画で言えば親子のコミュニケーションを促すということなのかなと考えました。新聞はその世の中で起こっていることが毎日掲載されているもので、その情報の伝わり方を例えば子ども向けにする、また違う言語に置き換える、またあるいはデジタルメディアでは難しいその多人数で見るというところの仕組みをですね、作ることで情報格差を減らせるのではないか。
日本では個別配達で新聞を定期購読する人がほとんどです。だから新聞は家庭で読まれるメディアでした。一方、テレビやインターネットなど情報が個人に向いて発信されている時代だということも知っています。新聞は一方で学校教育で授業の題材として使われることも増えました。子どもたちは新聞に触れていますが、大人になった時に新聞を購読しなくなっているのも日本でも起こっています。私たちはこの企画を通じて家庭に到達する新聞、親と子のつなぎ役になる新聞、親と子で情報がシェアされていく新聞、この度は私たちの取り組みに興味を持っていただき本当にありがとうございました。
We are read by both parent and child.
They grow super fast. They're green and taste of nothing. I like them. I don't. Can you guess what we're growing today? Lettuces!
They're busy in the garden. They're busy in the kitchen. It's time for something tasty. It scrubs up. We're growing and collecting, creating and inspecting. It's like some funky food. It scrubs up.
Wie heißt ihr?
My name's Deborah Spillane and I am a producer here in Ireland's national broadcaster Radio Telefís Éireann, and I work in young people's programmes.
Hi, I'm Emma Nolan. I work in Young People's Programmes in RTE. Check out some of the things I do here.
So this is the Grubs Up team. Myself and Emma are the people who work on it. We normally work on studio-based programmes during the year from September through to May, and then in the summer we go out on location shoots and we make programmes like
Grubs Up!
Was macht ihr?
We came up with the idea of making Grubs Up in order to encourage kids to get out and to become active. In Ireland, as in all of Europe, there are huge problems with children's inactivity and bad eating habits. So we thought we'd make a programme that would show them where food came from and how to grow that food and then how to prepare that food, and so that they would enjoy eating it. And we also know that kids love doing things, they love making things, and in the programmes that we made, I think part of the reason they're so successful is that the kids are actually doing things. So they're digging and they're gardening and they're cooking.
The most important things in production of Grubs Up was finding the right children to take part. So we needed kids that were like really up for being on telly, they really wanted to do it, not just their parents wanted them to do it. And so we wanted to like food and like planting, and so we needed different age groups as well. So each program has 4 kids, 2 older, 2 younger. Basically that was because the smaller ones aren't as dexterous as they would be in a few years, so maybe they couldn't chop, or they're not able to talk as much on camera as the older ones. So you need that kind of mix of the two.
Hiya, my name is Sheila De Corsi and I'm controller of RTE Junior, which is our channel for under 7s, and I'm in charge of all the platforms that we put content out on. That's television, radio, mobile and online. When commissioning programmes for this age group, the fundamental thing is that children must lie at the heart of this. We put children on screen, we like to hear their voices, we like to hear their voices unmediated, we like to hear their points of view, and we like that we treat them as equals. So our programme makers go out there, and their brief is to meet children where they are and treat them as equals, and make programmes that actually explore and reflect their world and interpret their world, but it's always interpreted from the child's point of view. Grubs Up is a terrific example of an RTE Junior programming. What you see there is a child's world. The programme is shot very much at the level of the child and the way that they engage with the world. We've got older and younger children together, which actually allows us to get all of the stuff done that the programme is about, but at the same time it allows us to see and hear the voices of younger children and how they relate to food and to growing and to the natural environment.
Okay, so that's it. Enjoy the programme, and that's bye-bye from us and from everybody in YPP.
Get gardening, get cooking, it's Grubs Up. Yay!
It's Grubs Up!
Holland. Lineke. Marjolein. Buk.
The idea of Toolbox Kids uit elkaar started when my son was about 5 years old, and our dishwasher broke, and I just put it in the garden, and somehow I gave him the toolbox, my own personal toolbox, and this is what happened, because I took my lightweight Super VHS camera and I shot what happened. Here you see the result. Toolbox Kids is part of a policy that I developed for KRO Youth, which is part of Netherlands Public Broadcasting. The policy's title is Children in the Center. And that's what, for instance, Toolbox Kids, Uit Mekaar, also does. It is not our adult point of view or our adult values that we are trying to realize through children or with children. It is children themselves who are engaged in discovering the things around them, and we give them trust, we give them space to develop themselves, and also we believe very much in their autonomy. And I think that is what Uit Mekaar, Toolbox Kids, also proves, that when you really trust children and you give them in the right age, of course, you give them tools, they really understand the concept of using those tools and discovering and unmounting machines. And that is actually what Toolbox Kids is doing. In our concept, we have, that's the experience that I had with my son when he dismounted our dishwasher 10 years ago. We make them to put the small things apart, the bigger things and the biggest things together. So they really also, through acting, start to understand the different elements that this machine is built from. So in fact, we choose the anti-pedagogical way, not putting things together based on the elements that you have, but taking something apart, and by taking it apart, understanding how it's put together. But I think Uit Mekaar, Toolbox Kids, really represents the best in preschool children's television, because it's empowering themselves and they do it by themselves. And what I'm trying to achieve through the preschool television is that children inspire each other. I think peer-to-peer education, that's the strongest education you can imagine.
Sambia.
Hi there, boys and girls. It's fun time once again on Phonetics. Just like the name says, this show is about nothing else but fun, fun, fun. Let's take a look at some of the fun stuff we have for you today.
Phonetics ist eine Magazinsendung für 7- bis 11-jährige Kinder. Sie wird vom sambischen Privatsender MovieTV produziert. MovieTV ist neben dem staatlichen Fernsehen der zweitgrößte Sender in Sambia und hat sich bei seiner Gründung auf die Fahnen geschrieben, sich besonders um die Zielgruppe Kinder zu kümmern. Phonetics ist ca. 14 Minuten lang und hat einige feste Rubriken, wie das Ausprobieren von Zungenbrechern, Rätseln und mindestens einer Reportage pro Folge. Die Grundidee ist, Kindern auf Augenhöhe zu begegnen, sie ernst zu nehmen und ihre Stärken zu zeigen.
If two witches were watching. Two watches, which witch? Would watch.
Which watch?
Which two watch? If two witches were watching, which watch? Yeah. If two witches watch. Oh, sorry. If two witches. Can you help me how to say it?
Die Sendung wurde mit Unterstützung der Deutschen Welle Akademie ins Leben gerufen. Sie entstand im Rahmen des Projekts Wissen macht Spaß, einem Langzeitprojekt zur Förderung von Kinderfernsehen in Afrika. Ziel ist es, die Bildungssituation von Kindern vor allem in den ostafrikanischen Ländern wie Uganda, Kenia, Tansania und eben Sambia zu verbessern. In diesen Ländern fehlt es oft an gut ausgebildeten Lehrern, Unterrichtsmaterialien und Geld. Noch immer können sich viele Familien nicht leisten, ihre Kinder in die Schule zu schicken. Hier setzt das Projekt an. Es geht darum, Wissen zu vermitteln und neue Perspektiven zu schaffen. Klar ist, Massenmedien können Schulbildung nicht ersetzen, aber sie ergänzen. Mittlerweile gehört Phonetics zu dem Netzwerk Young Africa Connect, das afrikanische Kinderformate untereinander austauscht. Phonetics hat 2 Redakteurinnen, die sich darum kümmern.
That's all for today. Make sure your TV will be switched on next week when it's time for phonetics. Bye!
England.
First News ist eine wöchentliche Zeitung für Kinder im Alter von 7 bis 14 Jahren. Sie wurde vor 7 Jahren gegründet und hat sich innerhalb dieser Zeit zur meistgelesenen Publikation für Kinder in Großbritannien entwickelt. Mehr als 1 Million Kinder lesen First News jede Woche gemeinsam mit ihren Eltern und Lehrern. Über 1/3 aller britischen Schulen haben die Zeitung abonniert und verwenden sie im Unterricht. Neben dem Printprodukt bietet First News außerdem eine Website und eine wöchentliche TV-Nachrichtensendung. Diese wird auf einem eigenen, in Zusammenarbeit mit Sky News entstandenen First News-Kanal gesendet. Außerdem bietet die Zeitung ein Softwarepaket, mit dem die Nachrichten auf interaktiven Whiteboards in den Schulen gezeigt werden können. Ein Interview mit Nikki Cox, der Erfinderin und Herausgeberin von First News.
Well, do you know, when I was young, I wanted a newspaper, and I struggled to read newspapers that were for grown-ups, and I vowed then that I was going to become a journalist and launch my own newspaper for children if one hadn't been invented by then. Well, we use the most important stories of the week, the news that's making the headlines on all the TV bulletins, so all the big national and international news. But then we've got more pages to fill, so we look at stories that we think are of particular interest to young people. I think starting from the point of view of understanding that you won't necessarily know the background to stories, so rather than just saying what's happening now, we go backwards and we explain how we got to this point. I guess the ones that give us the most fulfillment maybe are ones that when we're running campaigns. We did one about child soldiers in Uganda, and we wrote a feature just about the fact that child soldiers existed, which I think a lot of young people didn't even realise, that kids as young as 10 are given guns and go out to fight in real wars in other countries. And our readers wanted to know what they could do to help, and we ended up having 235,000 First News readers signing a letter to say that they wanted this practice of child soldiers to stop. And the government ended up looking at their policy and pressing for change, and it went to the United Nations. So it really gave the young people of Britain a voice globally, which was fantastic. So that really gave me, made me feel really good. There are many, many ways for young people to get involved in First News, and it's something we really encourage. We have a page every week called Your News, which is where children can send in reports about anything that interests them. It could be something that happens at school or at a club, or a news story they've just come across, anything that they think is interesting that other people will want to read about. There's also a column in there where they can comment on things that have happened in the news that they have an opinion about, that they want to say. And we send young people out to do reports as well. It may be to a film premiere, it may be to interview a politician or a pop star or somebody like that. It might be reviewing games or computer games. You can also comment on the website. You can go on to firstnews.co.uk where you can comment on things that are happening in the news there. All sorts of different ways.